Comedian Emo Parsonson and his family make the long commute from Wee Jasper to Civic and on to Tuggeranong every day. But you can understand why when you see where they live, a property they share with Emo's mother, Helen Cathles, a grazier and leading light in the Australian wool industry.
Wee Jasper is a valley that runs from the south to the north, and it's just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I'm a landscape buff. I've been here just over 30 years now, so long time. Moved here when I was 27. Ian and I run superfine wool merinos and Angora goats for mohair. It's a fibre area for us. Our country ranges from the valley up into the rougher country. Between Cooradigby and Cookmundoon, we'd have about 9,000 acres. We lease out some of that country, and Ian and I run ourselves a maximum of about 3,000 stock. The superfine wool grows beautifully in high rainfall areas and in lighter carrying capacity country, you know, the mountains, and it just grows the best wool. When you touch it, it is so soft, it is so beautiful to touch. And then when you actually look at it and you see how fine these crimps are, you know, your hair is about 50 micron, and this particular one would be about 15 micron. Underwears would use superfine wool. Beautiful suits that you'd see in Savile Row, that's superfine wool. Irma, come on. At the moment, I'm president of the Australian Superfine Wool Growers Association, so I've had the opportunity to go to China with that association and meet up with some of the retail brands. Come on, Irma. If we increase the demand for Australian superfine wool in China, where there's a growing market and a growing appreciation for wearing beautiful clothing, then the demand will come down the pipeline. Irma, come here to me. And with the demand, you increase the price at auction. As soon as we see young families back on farm wanting to take up and make a good living at agriculture, then I know we're a success. Hi, Emo.
G'day, Mum. You guys look busy.
We have been, but we're all finished now. Fantastic. Feel like a cup of tea? Ian and I have 4 kids, and to start with, they were all wanting to stay on the land, and we've talked them all out of it, and we come in for a lot of criticism for that. However, I think until we can get the demand up, we can't expect them to be on the land with a family and having to struggle through every year. I noticed the school was closed. They all on camp or just
well, they're on camp, and the O'Briens are in Queensland.
Oh, well, that cuts the school back, doesn't it? Emo would have liked to have stayed, but then he wanted to start a family, and you can't do that on the wages that we were offering, so he had to go. But he still lives on farm, and that's really wonderful for us. We've got grandkids that come to visit, and it's fantastic. Want to go down and have a look?
Yeah.
Okay.
Growing up in Wee Jasper's great. Went to school in Sydney, which is typical for most kids around here, and came back in the holidays, just usually in time for major farm projects, bits of work like shearing and landmarking. Everyone works on the farm. The dogs, they're working dogs, kids, slaves. Anyway, Mum, I'd better get back to the house and write some jokes.
Friday's getting a lot closer.
Yes, right. Stand-up comedy is something that I've always been interested in. Don't mind the peace and quiet. It's why I got into stand-up comedy. Belly laughs hurting, and yeah, I just love laughing. I think I just heard a cricket. 2005, I entered Raw Comedy, which is a competition run by the Melbourne International Comedy Festival and Triple J. And they had the Canberra Heats at Tilly's Cafe in Lynham, and yes, it was supposed to do 5 minutes. I opted for a 30-second set. It was a bit of a disaster. There was a few anxious moments, then I just, got the hell out of there. It was pretty frightening. And then got back into it again, entered Raw Comedy a second time a year later. I guess more for to show myself that I could do it. And I had all this material that I hadn't used the year before. So I was able to get up again and got a couple of snickers from the audience, a few laughs, and I was hooked then.
G'day everyone, thanks for coming to the auction at the Wee Jasper General Store.
We performed in Wee Jasper. We've done it 2 years in a row now at the local pub. We've backed a truck into the beer garden and performed off the tray of the truck. And yes, it's quite amazing the hecklers that you get. It's like there's a hecklers convention on in Wee Jasper the same night that we happen to be doing a gig.
Take a seat. So anyway,
usually when I'm commuting, and fortunately I do a lot of that, so the material just rains down. The problem is I don't have a pen handy, and it's a bit dangerous to come out to Wee Jasper with a pad on the steering wheel and writing something down. We're now commuting, driving into Canberra from Wee Jasper every day. We got sick of living in there. We moved back to Wee Jasper and thought, no, we can do this. We can drive each day, and it's tough. It's a tough drive. It's a bit over an hour, and usually about August, September, I start thinking, I must be crazy. I'm insane. We get to October, and you hit the spring, you hit daylight saving, and suddenly you remember, yep, that's why I live here. It's so beautiful, and you get to really enjoy it.
Emo will be performing his comedy as part of the Classic Yas weekend.